postmortem on the Suns is really where the interesting conversation is this morning. They won 64 games this year. Chris Paul is considered one of the greatest players at his position in NBA history. I mean, that's what people think. They call him the point god, Pat Bev. What do we say about that today?
Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Like I mentioned to JJ earlier, if JJ played 17 years in the NBA and was given the freedom, it's the perfect word, the freedom that he had with the Clippers, and he had that freedom for 17 years, would he break three-point records? Of course. Of course. Do we now say JJ Redick is the greatest top 10 shooter in ever to play the game? You will have a valid answer of yes. And I just think it's the same case with Chris Paul. He's been given the keys to the Lambo at a young age. He's done great by his body, done great by his game, find a way to manipulate the referees, the president of the NBPA, so the stuff they call on regular people, they won't call on him. And you do that for 17 years. You should have all the records. You should have all the numbers. But does that make you the best point guard, top 10 point guard in NBA history? I don't know.
Top 10 point guard in NBA history?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard something like that. Maybe he is, And
well, no. Let's be clear. I think people would suggest that was almost insulting to him to say top 10. I think there are people who would argue he might belong in the top 2 or 3 point guards of all time. What would you say if someone suggested that?
I would say John Stockton, and I would say Magic Johnson. I would say those two.
Isaiah Thomas.
I'm going to just start with those.
Those two.
And I'm going to just leave it right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And so, JJ, your thoughts here. And what are the right things to say about a Phoenix Suns team that, again, was so good all year long and so unimaginably bad last night?
Just to Pat's point, I do think you can make a case that CP is a top 5 point guard. I certainly think he's a top 10 point guard. My big takeaway, not only after this series, but throughout CP's career, if he's your best player, or if he's your second best player, I don't know that that's good enough to win a championship. His impact on winning, let's be clear on that. New Orleans, Clippers, Phoenix, Houston, those team franchise record for wins when he went there.
Oh, so I should be in the top. Oh, I'm top 15 all the time then, because every team I go to, we make the playoffs.
But Pat, there's an asterisk on that.
No, I was hurt.
And
I was hurt. But I did it again this year. I was hurt. I got hurt the third game of the season, JJ. What do you want me to do?
Okay.
Microfracture. Then he came back and made the playoffs.
The resume, all-stars, all-NBA.
I'm with all that.
Top 5 in MVP voting, like steals, assists, all time. Like
you do it long enough, you should get it.
Well,
you do it 17 years, you should have numbers, JJ.
Kevin Willis didn't have numbers.
Who's Kevin Willis, JJ? Stop, bro.
Kevin Willis didn't have numbers.
Bro, if you played the game with that much freedom for 17 years, JJ, you would have all records, bro.
But why shouldn't he have that freedom? Why shouldn't he have that freedom? Why shouldn't he have the keys?
No, I didn't say he shouldn't. I just said when you're
missing my larger point. I want to get to my larger point. My larger point is it's been proven he's probably not good enough to be your best player and to win a championship. And I think what it comes down to in the playoffs, and we've seen this especially now in the modern NBA, big wings matter. And all the best teams have big wings. And I'll throw Luka in there too. Because he just absolutely destroyed them. It didn't matter if there was size on him. There was CP on him. They targeted CP the whole series, and they destroyed.
But they have big wings, right? I mean, they have Devin Booker, who's a big wing, and they have Mikal Bridges.
Stop
what?
I'm talking Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James. These are big wings.
No, I get it. But Phoenix has those.
They have one.
They have one on D-Book, and that's it.
One.
And Mikal Bridges, who was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and
because they won 63 games. That's the only reason he's there.
Right. Here's what's going to happen now.
Spicy.
Knowing you and whatever else it is, and I must say that I'm enjoying the hell out of this conversation.
Yeah,
but there are going to be people who are going to be saying that for whatever reason you have an axe to grind with Chris Paul, and that you were saying some of these things based upon some sort of personal animosity.
No, I'm saying all of this because this is what the NBA says, and players in the NBA know this. I'm just. My coach used to tell my coach Finch, he told me, I'm just the weatherman. I'm just giving you, letting you know if it's raining or not, brother.
Yeah.
These are other, I'm not the only one who says this. There's other people, man, what? If I'm playing a game and I'm getting ready for the Phoenix Suns, come on, let's go. If I'm getting a game and I'm getting ready for the Golden State Warriors, yeah, I'll let y'all tomorrow. I got an early one. I'm just saying, my preparation is very different.
I see.
That's all.
And that's because of Steph and Clay and all of that.
Steph.
Steph.
Yeah,
so people will look at Steph and Chris Paul and say they are the two preeminent players of their generation at their position? Do you compare the two of them?
No, you can't compare them. Very different players, but I agree with what you said.
That they would be the two preeminent guys of their position.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to put any words in your mouth. I feel like you were saying that Chris Paul is overrated, that people view him in a way, but you haven't used that word, so I don't want to put it in your mouth. But is that what you're saying, that people generally overrate how great a player he is?
I think he's been in a fortunate situation to be, president of NBPA and State Farm commercials. So he's fortunate to get certain calls in games that normal guys don't usually get. I'll say that.
Fair enough. Let me get Brian Windhorst in on this conversation here. Wendy, take it anywhere you like.
He followed Phoenix the whole year. He should know.
Yes, Wendy did follow Phoenix all year long. He's in Boston today.
No, why is he in Boston? He should be in Phoenix.
Well, he was covering the East for us here.
Okay, my bad. Bandwagon jumper. My bad.
But go ahead, Wendy. What is your number one takeaway here?
They ain't never let him
Bev,
back
you
on
are
the
an
show.
asset to all of your teams. Congratulations on your new contract, by the way.
No, I don't
and
need
you're a treasure to the
congratulations.
league.
I earned every bit of that, but I appreciate
But with
it.
all due respect,
Pat
with all
Beverly, you
due
ain't never
respect,
coming back on this movie.
Chris Paul is an all-time great player, and this Suns team was a great team. Now, they were not an unflawed team. Flaws definitely showed up in the last round against the Pelicans. The Pelicans gave the Suns some problems, but Chris Paul had a world-class clutch season. And, there are issues with him. His size tends to show up at the end of seasons. There are people in this league who believe that it's going to be very hard for him to win at the highest level because his size is an issue. His stamina throughout games can be an issue. As he's gotten older, he definitely has been saving his energy for the end of games. And that is something that teams can pick on in playoff settings. But there's no doubt about his greatness as a player and the excellency of this Suns team. They were a terrific